You're currently watching Update 1 on Force 13 over now Hurricane Nicole, which is re-strengthened into a Category 1 hurricane with winds of 80 miles an hour and a pressure of 980 millibars, and it's moving towards the northwest at about 5 miles an hour. Though that movement may change pretty soon as expected to move more north and then a bit more northeast as we get into the day tomorrow and tomorrow night. It's currently situated about 350 miles southwest of Bermuda, and it could, as I said, it should make that northeast turn and could approach, in fact, should approach Bermuda. Sorry about my stuttering speech, I apologize, but it should approach Bermuda on Thursday afternoon as a Category 2 hurricane, and possibly even a Category 3 hurricane, according to the NHC. It's not very likely to make a landfall on Bermuda because it's a very small target. Few storms make landfall on Bermuda. If we just don't remember 2014, that would probably be best. But it's a very small target, nonetheless, and it's rare to see landfalls there. We've never seen a major hurricane landfall, though Fabian came kind of close in 2003. After that, it should continue to move towards the northeast and then become post-tropical by this weekend. Let's take a look at the current warnings. It's just a hurricane warning in effect for Bermuda, and that's pretty much it. So that's the situation with the warnings. Sea surface temperatures, not really an issue right now. It's currently over at least 29 degrees. At least, yes. This is a little cool water patch caused by the storm, by the way. Here's Bermuda. Still 27-degree waters around that area, maybe even 28. Wind shear is probably the only issue for this storm. It is low over the storm right now, but just to its north of at least 50 to 60 knots of shear, and increasing, for that matter, over Bermuda. So that might be one thing that's going in Nicole's way. Here's the water vapor loop. As you can see, some dry air off to the storms to the west of the storm, but that really shouldn't be. It's been deflecting that. It's been a kind of an issue, but it's not as big of an issue as it was. So that's what's going on in terms of developmental factors. Let's take a quick look at the models. GFS is saying Nicole will not make a landfall in Bermuda and develops another little system in the Caribbean, which has been kind of blowing up over these past couple of days to a pretty strong storm. Me personally, I don't subscribe to that. Nicole, for the ECMWF, no landfall, and the Caribbean system doesn't really get going either. CMC is saying that Nicole will come a little bit further to the west than the other models are saying, or maybe just a little bit further away. CMC blowing this thing up really quickly, and then actually, interestingly enough, it actually puts, that's not Nicole, but another system forms farther south and dives down towards Bermuda, but that's the CMC. It's very unlikely. NavGem is coming out with its current run right now, so let's go back one. And it's saying Nicole will move west, a little bit further, closer to Bermuda, but still not over. HWRF is saying really quick that it doesn't go far out enough, but here's Bermuda. It should continue in this direction, not make a landfall. GFDL showing Nicole not moving anywhere near the island, actually. So that's what's going on with the models. Track forecast, it's pretty tight consensus that this thing's going to move to the west of Bermuda. Some of the models do predict a landfall, but very few and far between, so it's not very likely. Intensity forecast, really quick, saying it'll probably get back up to a Category 2, some maybe even low-end Cat 3. I find Cat 3 unlikely, however. I think it should just remain a 2. And then after about 84 hours, it should start to fall off as it goes under post-tropical transition. Here's the latest satellite on Nicole. It's looking a bit better than it has in the past couple hours. It's getting that eye forming much. It's getting the eye together more than it has been. It was a Category 2 a couple days ago. I'm not entirely sure when it was, but it was at one point. This is just another graphic, I guess, can display better how the eye is forming. And here's the water vapor. You can see all the dry air marked in the yellows. Affecting the western part of the storm a little bit, but not as much as it could. Yeah, some would say it's forming annular characteristics. I'm a little iffy on that. I don't really think it is. Songda in the Westpac is actually developing annular characteristics, and that's a super typhoon right now somehow. But yes, you can clearly see that eye forming here. Really is not much else to say on Nicole. Last hurricane impact on Bermuda was Joaquin last year. Carl came close a couple weeks ago, but didn't really do much on the island as a tropical storm, or I would argue a hurricane. So that's what's going on there. Quick update on what's the death toll and damage toll for Matthew right now. Death toll in Haiti is still at 1,000, though I expect that to rise quite significantly as we get into the latter parts of the month. And the damage total right now is preliminary estimates at $5 billion. That sounds about right for what it did. The flooding situation in North Carolina is unprecedented, and it should continue to be a big issue, not in terms of any more flooding, but just in terms of the flooding is already there. So yeah, pretty bad system it's been, and it's probably, I would say, very likely chance of getting retired. No question about it in my mind, but that's not something we should really discuss right now. So Matthew, it's been a devastating storm and probably the worst storm of it is the Atlantic's worst storm in 2016, and if not the Atlantic's worst storm, then the world's worst storm of 2016. That's going on with Matthew, but let's get back on Nicole real quick. Actually, not really back on Nicole, but what's going on elsewhere around the world? Here's the extratropical remnants of Matthew, if you're wondering. Two invests in the Eastern Pacific, 990 and 98E. Either one or both could form. Next two names are Seymour and Tina. Or if 98E decides to move into the Central Pacific, then it'll be Walaka. Super Typhoon Songda, as I said, is looking pretty healthy but I don't really know about Super Typhoon status. It looks a little bit weak for that. What's left of air in the South China Sea, and one more invest just to the east of the Philippines. So the Atlantic season compared, looks like that I have it out of order. My apologies. Here's the first half of the season, and moving on to the second half right here. And Matthew's been the strongest storm by far. It's been the worst storm by far. And Nicole could become our third major, though I don't really know about that too much. You can follow Force 13 at any of its outlets, the website, force13.com, the forum, force13.com/forum, Facebook and Twitter at Force13, all in text, or you could add Nathan on Skype at Fool13. This has been Hank Dulce for Force 13, signing out, and stay tuned for more.